What's up? Okay, let's talk about LLCs. I know, sounds very exciting, but I don't know. A lot of guys that I talk to nowadays, getting older, they're like, yo, I want to make an LLC, I just want to write everything off. I want to have this self employed entrepreneur mentality and everything like that. And that's great and all. I mean, nothing's stopping them from doing any of that. The only thing is, I feel like it's been overhyped. A lot of people have showed that it's crazy that you can get Lambos, cars. I guess that is another form of a car, but house, new shoes, new clothes, all that, and you can write it off under your LLC, and that's great. But I just want to make sure you guys understand that there's some repercussions to everything that people do that they don't try to tell you up front, or they just feel like flexing on you. But let me break down that flex for you. But an LLC, you still have to pay some fees. They don't really tell you like, oh, just go sign up for an LLC like you can make a YouTube channel. No. You still have to pay some fees, filing fees and everything, and do the steps that your state requires for you to even get an LLC. So if you're one of those guys that are like, oh, work? I don't want to do any work, then you still got to do that. You got to do work plus pay money to continue doing that work. So if you're not down for that, then it's probably not your forte. But you're probably thinking, hey, put the money up or shut up, otherwise you won't get far in life. And I respect that mentality, but let's keep going. An LLC, if you don't know, I think it's called, what is it called? I think I had it on top. Yeah, it's a limited liability company. So it's still limited to certain things. And I know if you're just starting it off, you're probably not too familiar with business or anything like that, but when something is limited, it can only do so much, and this also happens with LLCs. Real quick, it's just basically like certain corporations will get compensations, benefits, and stuff like that, while LLCs might not fall underneath that, depending on your state, and it's all depending on your state. But yeah, that's the biggest thing that a lot of people seem to miss out on, that depending on what you do for your LLC, whether that be a salon, childcare, maybe a gun shop or something like that, you still have to fall in line with the criteria to even open those types of businesses anyway. And for those that are like, well, I'm just going to do an LLC for my internet content creation, trying to make it sound more fancy than it is, then sure. But that goes into my next point then is, hey, when you make an LLC, you have to be very, very strict and treat it like it is a business. It's not, I write off eating a Oreo today and I can write that off on my taxes. No, whatever you do for the business needs to stick with the business. And a lot of people get confused because they're like, well, if I do internet content creation, extraordinaire corporation, whatever, then everything I touch is for my business. And sure, if you want to live your life dedicated to the business, meaning that if you're going to say it's for the business, you have to really show and prove that it is. And it's not just so much I touch it and it becomes part of the business. No, this thing has to function and utilize itself and its use towards the business. So it's not just because you buy food, it's part of your business. That's on your personal expense. So that stuff gets confusing. It gets really a lot of people in trouble when, if they care, to investigate you. So always take the safe route and the best route in order to stay safe out there. So yeah, when you do that, make sure you're walking that fine line, because if you slip up once, you may not get caught, but all it takes is one time, and then you're going to be like, ooh, I don't want to do this anymore. And last but not least, guys, I think that just goes into my final point. It's still a business at the end of the day. Like, you still have to treat it like that. Sure, it's more flexible and you don't really have that much liability when it comes to it failing or anything. But even so, if like you're doing this solely by yourself for an LLC, whoever's the remaining member or whoever's left still has to pay the cancellation fees of the LLC. You still have to pay or file taxes and file documents and stuff to cancel out the LLC in order for you to even do anything again. So you still have to do that. Otherwise, you're still paying on stuff you don't want to pay for anymore because your company's no longer there. Sure, in the time of the internet, you can create an LLC for anything, but it's still a business at the end of the day, and you should really respect it as such. And if you just watch people just talk and say, hey, I have an LLC and I've been able to, quit my 9-to-5 and explore the world, and you can too, and everything like that, that's just salesman talk. They're just trying to sell you on the idea and everything like that in order for you to either do that thing that they're doing, fail at it, and then come to them for advice. But at the end of the day, it's always information you got to look up on your own and try for yourself, because no one can teach you. It's all about your experience, and it's all about how you perform. So, yeah, if you're going to do an LLC, take these thoughts into consideration. Anyways, I'll see you guys next time. Peace.